All right. We need to get this out of the way early and first because I know that you trolls are going to be absolutely furiously destroying your keyboards in the comment section below here in just a minute. So I'm going to put it to you plain and simple as best as I possibly can, and that is that the Heygears UltraCraft Reflex System is the single-handedly most advanced and truly legitimately innovative resin 3D printer system on the market today. So with that said, there is not a chance in hell that I will ever be able to detail and outline everything related to this system in one single video. And trust me, if I did, it would be the most boring 45-minute snore fest that you have ever seen on 3D printing YouTube. So this is the bottom line. This video will not cover everything. This video will not answer all of your questions. And if you do decide to purchase this product, trust me, there will be things that you need to learn yourself. Albeit Heygears has made this system as foolproof as they possibly could. So hopefully there really can't be much for you to mess up. Now look, I have made my disclaimer already. My eyes are blind to the comments section down below. If you guys think that you can offend me, go ahead and try, because trust me, you won't be able to do it. So here we go.
Try me.
The Reflex System is the single-handedly most finalized, finished, and polished 3D printing product that the consumer-grade 3D printing market has ever seen. It uses the fully self-developed blueprint studio that Heygears has developed, and trust me, it is not a reskin of any product that you've seen on the market already. Heygears also utilizes a fully self-developed photopolymer that does not cure at the 405 nanometer wavelength that the standard 3D printing resin cures at. And when I asked what wavelength that this resin worked at, I was told that it worked on the true UV wavelength, which is short for, hey, we don't want to tell you and let you know anything about our custom product, so bug off. So combined, all of these things that I just mentioned are going to burn a hole in your wallet. However, there is no other possible comparison product because this is the most refined resin 3D printer that you can buy and put in your home today. The printer combo comes in at a ridiculous $2,400 US, and it requires the proprietary resin, which starts at $59 per liter, and it goes up to $100 per bottle, depending on which resins you choose to buy.
And if you don't have $100 to spend on professional photopolymers, check out PCBWay. Now, the great thing about PCBWay is they don't only print standard materials, you can also print PEEK, ASA, or even stainless steel and titanium. And in order to provide the highest quality service prior to printing, PCBWay is actually going to do a full model analysis of the file you upload. That will ensure when your print arrives, it's going to be exactly as you envisioned it. What are you waiting for? If you want to learn more, check the link in the description below. Thank you so much to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. Now let's learn about all three machines in the UltraCraft network.
All three machines that you see behind me today are going to connect to your phone or your computer via the respective application or software, which of course is Blueprint Studio. When I connected these machines to my network, it was seamless and it honestly took me less than 5 minutes. Both the phone and the computer app are beautiful, seamless, very well developed pieces of software that are clearly developed by a professional software developer.
He's a professional.
And that is not something that I can honestly say about Chitubox, Cura, Prusa Slicer, Creality Cloud, or any of the other big named 3D printing softwares. In order to start a new project, you're going to navigate to the integrated slicer within Blueprint Studios, and you're going to click New Local Project. It's then going to ask you what printer you want to use, and of course I select the UltraCraft Reflex System because it's the only one that I own. After that, the system is going to ask you for your resin vat type and then the application type that you're planning to slice for. And the application type is rather an obfuscated way for saying which resin are you planning to use. Currently, Heygears only offers 7 types of resin, and you can see all of those on screen now. And these resins have vastly different properties and are definitely used for different application types. So after you have all of your selections made, Heygears is going to use all of that information in order to predefine your print slicing profile.
He's beginning to believe.
You do not and you cannot change any printing profile parameter settings. Depending on the resin type you use, Heygears might give you the opportunity to change the slicing layer height. And everything else is predefined for you. This is what makes the Reflex system so ridiculously foolproof, and this is why you need to use all of their products specifically. You can't change anything, it just works, and it just works flawlessly.
Flawless victory.
So once you've selected all of those parameters, you import your model as you normally would, and everything else seems to be normal. You can hollow your parts, add holes, change the orientation, you can add supports, or pretty much any other common slicing features. When you slice your model, you have the opportunity to send it to the cloud, where you have up to 50 models that you can store there up to 1 year in length. And one absolutely crazy feature that I have to mention is because everything that you're using here is fully proprietary software, it's going to allow you to use the pick algorithm, which is a fully self-developed algorithm designed by Heygears. And for the layman, that means all of your support structures are going to have different exposure levels, which is going to allow you to have stronger supports that fail less often. This is also going to allow you to use the WDR Fusion Plus algorithm, which is another fully self-developed algorithm by Heygears. It's going to allow for a multi-layer analysis and compensation to reduce the peeling forces whenever the build plate is rising out of the vat. Now, do not ask me how these algorithms work, and do not ask me to prove their effectiveness, because to be completely honest with you, I have no idea how I would ever do that. All that I know is that my slicing experience with Blueprint was phenomenal. So when you're ready to print a file, you can either send them manually to the printer over USB, or you can use the LAN or the cloud-based transfer settings. And in my opinion, this, what I'm about to say, is where the system totally shines. The Heygears Reflex system features a fully fledged print queue. This is a seriously innovative feature into the 3D printing workspace. And to me personally, it's one of the coolest, most drastic ways that your workflow as an individual can be improved. If you're operating a small printing business, or you just have a small laundry list of files to print, you can send all of those files over to the printer at once, and individually, as the prints finish up, the printer will delete those off of your print queue. Having this print queue allows you to not double print models. It allows you to not have to think, did I already print this? Did I not print this? And it allows you to easily just go from one print to the next one very rapidly. Now, in terms of the build quality tech, the Heygears Reflex system has an exorbitant number of sensors built into it. I can't even begin to tell you where all of them are or how many the system even has. To name a few, it has a pressure sensor for the build plate, it has a sensor to know if the vat is connected, it has a sensor to know if the build plate is connected. The machine even has a sensor for resin to detect the temperature as well as the level of resin in the vat. And of course, the list just goes on and on.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
But my favorite sensors are going to be the sensors in the individual printer feet. And these sensors are used to detect whether the printer is level or not. During the initial setup of the Heygears Reflex system, the screen is going to offer you a very easy diagnostic tool in order to tell you which printer feet need to be screwed more or less in order to level the printer properly. And of course, the printer's levelness, if that's even a word, is going to determine the print quality because of gravity as well as the amount of resin within the vat. So I could go on and on about all of these sensors, but if I ever want to cover the other features, I kind of need to move on now.
Move on. Move on.
Please just trust me, based on all of these sensors that the machine has, the printing experience was none other than amazing. It was flawless. Honestly, it was just perfect.
It was perfect. Perfect.
So now I do want to touch on the print monitoring and the history features that the Reflex system has to offer. So within the Blueprint Studio on the computer and possibly on the app, I'm not sure, you do have the opportunity to look at the print queue as well as the job history that already happened. And the job history is broken out by the printer, the washer, and the curer because you can send jobs to all three machines.
We're jobs growing jobbies!
For the printer, if you go to the job history, it's going to tell you what printed, it's going to tell you the time that it finished, it will tell you the type of resin that was used, the amount of resin that was used, it will tell you the number of layers on the model, and it will even show you pictures of the model. The history, features, and functionality is nothing short of spectacular, though I will admit the current printing status leaves a lot to be desired. For the current printing status, you can't pause the print to see if the model is properly stuck to the build plate. You don't know how many layers have been printed. You don't even know the percentage of the model that's completed. And obviously, if you can't change the parameters within Blueprint Studio, you obviously cannot change the parameters during printing on the screen. So I already mentioned that you can send jobs to the washer and the curer, but why is that? Well, if we're being honest, for the washer, I have no idea. For the curing machine though, I definitely learned that the hard way. I tried to manually cure my PAT 10 ultra clear glass-like resin for 30 minutes and it yellowed like nothing else. So next, I naturally tried to send the curing job from Blueprint Studio to the curing machine, and it enabled the heater, and it also changed the cure time from 30 minutes up to 50 minutes. I presume it also likely changed the intensity and the power of the UV lights. The difference is now that the parts came out truly looking like glass.
Yes, science!
So clearly the type of resin that's being cured needs very specific parameters, possibly heat, and possibly a change in the curing time. Remembering all of these parameters yourself in order to manually input them on the machine just seems like way too much hassle, so the fact that you can send the curing jobs from within Blueprint directly to the machine just seems like the way to go. Now, taking all of that into consideration, and also the fact that this resin doesn't cure at the standard 405 nanometer wavelength, unfortunately the Heygears curing station is honestly a requirement to purchase. If you don't want to spend the $800 to buy this machine, then there's probably no reason for you to buy any of the Heygears system. And as for the washing station, honestly, I really don't want to get too much into it, but I guess I have a few things to say. Honestly, it is incredibly innovative, and I thought I was going to love it because I don't have to dig my hand into a vat of IPA in order to pull out my parts. But the honest truth is that I just don't like this machine. Honestly, it just creates messes in all kinds of ways. So if you don't properly close the valves, you're going to dump IPA all over your work surface. Whenever you lift the top bucket of freshly drained IPA off the other bucket, it just drips IPA all over the place. And if you accidentally activate the washer at the wrong time, it shakes the total holy hell out of the entire work surface. Things go falling all over the place, and if your printer is on the same table, you might spill resin everywhere. So what have I missed? Because honestly, nothing can be perfect. So the resin bottle will load into the back of the printer, and that means you have to unload the resin bottle when you're done using it. There's about an 8-inch plastic chamber that you have to pull the bottle of resin out of, and when you do that, you're just dripping resin all over the interior chamber. And the truth is, I have literally no idea how I would ever clean that chamber out.
What do I do?
So if you do opt to purchase the washer as well, and you activate the washer at the initial phase of starting a print using this system, the sensor within the bed says, hey, there's an uneven or there's an unlevel process happening. Please try again. Basically, the warning error is suggesting that there's a faulty printing environment and that you need to try again later. Now, if I'm being honest, the Reflex system is without a doubt the highest quality 3D printer that I own in terms of fit and finish. But that's not gonna come at any cheap cost, because this machine and this system is easily 50 kilograms. It is massive, it is heavy, and if you need to move it, you're probably not gonna want to do that. So I'm confident there are things that went unspoken. Some of them are probably negative and some, of course, are probably positives. In my opinion, the consumer grade 3D printing market has definitely not seen this much innovation. The Heygears UltraCraft Reflex System is an algorithmic and technology mecca, and I am very confident that if you have the wallet to back up this system, you're going to absolutely love it. Please do be sure to check out the affiliate links that I have in the description if you want to learn anything more about this machine, and if you do make any purchases using those links, there will be a very healthy kickback to the channel, and all of that money gets pumped directly back to the channel. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I sincerely hope that all of my thoughts have been helpful to you, and if you haven't yet already done so, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.